25/8 is in the business of time. We help leaders of small and medium-sized businesses work smarter, not harder, so they feel like they have an extra hour in the day and day in the week. Go from don't know what I don't know to I can't miss this show, as we talk proven strategies, practical tips and insider insights from a diverse range of industry leaders. Make time to grow your capabilities and confidence with 25/8. Often the biggest issue I see in businesses whose biggest challenge is finding more customers or stabilizing their sales is that they're too focused on the tactic they think they should be engaged in. If I ask the following question to small businesses today, and maybe ask yourself this question too now, what is the most important thing you need to know and do in your business? Many would reply with things like SEO or understanding how to post a reel on Instagram or using AI to develop content or how to use LinkedIn or anything AI and marketing related. And whilst these topics and potential skills may be useful, they're only effective if you know why you are using them and what result you can realistically expect to get from it. Welcome to this episode of Make Time, where we're going to make time to understand why your marketing tactics aren't working and what you can do about it. I'm your host, Sam, and I'm on a mission to help small businesses and the people within them thrive. So you've tried the ads, boosted the posts, hired the agency, sent the emails, maybe even redone the website, and yet results still fall short of expectations. It's easy to think the problem lies in the marketing itself, or maybe the platform, or the current market, or the budget. But often the real issue isn't the tactic itself, it's the lack of strategy behind it. You see, tactics without strategy generally are just noise. And many small and medium business owners dive straight into tactics because it's what's visible and urgent. Marketing feels like the lever to pull when growth stalls. It's the emergency action. It's quick, let's post on socials or let's do some SEO. But without strategy, those efforts scatter rather than compound. And it's like turning up the volume on a song that's out of tune. Louder doesn't make it better. A strong strategy aligns the what you do with the why you do it, who loves you for that, and how it creates value no one else can. When those pieces aren't clear, even the best looking campaign underperform. And it's surprising how often business owners skip this step, not because they don't care, but because they're so busy doing the work and it keeps them busy. And so this is the thing that they think they should do. But if we stopped a moment and asked ourselves a few simple questions like, what results do your customers actually get from working from you? What specific problem do you solve that others don't? How do you solve it differently or better than anyone else? Why should someone choose you over a competitor? And when I work with businesses on our programs, this is how we dig deeper into their strategies to make sure we get to the heart of the humans involved. And without that deep dive, often the answers are vague, assumed, or inconsistent across the internal team. Often the business owner hasn't even asked for feedback from a customer in a long time, or got that feedback, or thinks they have that feedback, but hasn't really dug deep into what the transformation was that they created for their customers. And without that clarity, no marketing effort, no matter how well executed, will truly get the results it could if it considered those things first. Often the brand and the brand of the business, what you're putting out there, and brand isn't just a logo, it's that perception. Many businesses have this as a bit of a blind spot, and they may think that brand is just the design, but brand is how people feel about your business. It's what they say when you're not there. It's what comes to mind when they hear your business name. It shapes their perception before they've even spoken to you. So if our brand, if our touch points, the channels, what we put out there about our business, if it looks one way on one channel and your website says another and your customer experience delivers something different again, you create confusion, and confusion doesn't build trust. It doesn't convert. A strategic brand doesn't just attract attention. It builds trust and consistency across every customer touch point, from your social media to your invoices. We've often referenced the Australian brand Who Gives a Crap for their clever consideration of all touch points. Their confirmation emails on their toilet paper subscriptions use relationship language and emojis, to their messages on their packaging, to the delivery driver and how to make use of the box. These are really neat ways to make yourself memorable. And so experience is how you can differentiate. Your customer's experience isn't just your product or service, it's every interaction along the journey. How easy it is to buy, how supported they feel, how they're treated after they've paid, surprise and delight. That doesn't have to cost the earth to improve. And it's how smaller businesses can really stand out regardless of the industry. We can be nimble, we can be human in comparison to those bigger companies. And when that experience feels thoughtful and seamless, it reinforces your credibility and increases word of mouth. Still the most powerful marketing there is. So a marketing campaign that overlooks the customer experience, it's kind of like decorating a house before you've built the foundations. Here's another common pattern. You might try to handle marketing yourself and it's not quite working. So then you think, well, it's my expertise. I don't know marketing. So you hire an agency and they might do the usual things, create ads or write copy and maybe fix your SEO, and results improve, but not as much as you hoped. Or they might, and I've seen this a lot, send you through a quote that's ridiculously expensive for things that you don't actually need. Why is it that they can't get results? Or why is it that they offer you something that you don't need? Because even the best agencies can't build a strategy they don't understand. And they may be an expert at their craft, but they're not an expert in your business. They don't know your customers like you do. They might have, again, best agencies might have some insights into customers, but not in terms of what you sell and what you uniquely bring to the market. They don't know your history, your nuances, or what great looks like in your industry, in your position. So unless you articulate that to them clearly, agencies have to guess. And that means that time's wasted, but it's not always right. And you get inconsistent results and money can be wasted. So what does having a strategy actually mean? Really, a solid strategy gives you a decision-making filter, a way to say yes or no with real confidence. It means that you know your audience, who you're really trying to reach and what they value. You understand your value, what it is that you offer, the specific outcomes you create and why they matter. You know what your difference is, how you do it in a way that others can't or don't do it. And everyone, even if we sell the same product or service, has that. We have your story, the narrative that makes people care. And great brands have great stories. And also then your priorities, where your time, budget, and energy go first. For example, if people aren't searching for your product or service, then SEO may not be the first thing that you focus on. So it's understanding what the most important thing to focus on and put your effort into for your small business. And once you know this, your marketing becomes more focused, consistent, and more effective. And build Building momentum happens when you can find your audience in less crowded channels where you can stand out. We worked with a caravan manufacturer, and they always advertised in the caravan magazines. And you can imagine how many other caravans advertise in caravan magazines. But having deep dived into their customers, their customer personas, their ideal customers for this one specific van, we started to pinpoint where else that customer might hang out, what else they might value in life. And so by being creative in terms of where they place their ad, they could be the only caravan ad in that place. And that tactic then got them incredible results. So what can you do to find a channel where your customers are, where you can stand out, where you can be the only business that offers that product or service to them there? So it's all about working smarter, not harder, because the truth is marketing does work, but only when it's backed by strategy. Otherwise, it's just activity. And if you've got a lot of money and a lot of resources, you can put a lot of effort into that, and yeah, it might work. But if you're a small business with fewer resources, doing that will eat a lot of your time and potentially a lot of your money. So what we want to do as small businesses is ensure that every hour and every dollar we spend gets the maximum return for our investment. And so perhaps before you spend another dollar or another hour on an ad or another hour crafting a post, you can take a step back and ask yourself, what do we want to be known for? Who are we trying to reach and why? Where can we find them? What value are we really delivering? Does our brand and customer experience reflect that? And what do we realistically think we can achieve by this action? When you can answer those questions clearly, you can be more intentional with your marketing, hopefully save you some time and money and get better results. And that's when growth feels less like pushing uphill and more like building momentum in the right direction. And that's what we do at 25/8, because if small and medium-sized businesses get clear on their strategy, so their marketing operations and growth efforts all pull in the same direction, and they get creative, they're connecting with their ideal customers, their likelihood of long-term success significantly increases. And the more our small businesses thrive, the more our communities thrive. Our programs combine practical business education with expert business coaching and industry mentoring, helping you build a business that works smarter, not harder. Because when your strategy is strong, every tactic starts to work harder for you, as if you've had an extra hour in the day and day in the week. Thanks for listening to Make Time, a business podcast by 25/8. If you like the show, please take a moment to write a review and feedback on what you'd like to hear next. If you never want to miss an episode, hit subscribe or follow on your favourite listening channel. If you want to get even smarter, join our newsletter, community, or take one of our programs. Links down below. See you next time.